about doing the install of a Blackhorse Atlas Pro back rack. Did it on my two Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. Get you a good video over here. Anyway, by step of what I did to do the install. It's pretty easy but kind of vague. I'll show the instructions here. It was just kind of parts, parts on the second page, same thing on the third. And then you get into here where it says, use part 26, 29, and 30 to connect 2 and 3. I mean, just kind of arrows every which way. Not really descriptive as to what it was that you were doing at any type of sequence. Yeah, very, very vague to say the least. So I'm going to kind of give you guys a real quick run through what I did here. Sorry, I got my charcoal grill going here. Anyway, so check it out. Right here's your base to it. You got your back bar and then your front bar, and then you got your basket. That's going to be your main pieces here. I did this all on the bed of the truck. I think you can do that on all of them. I did, as I can zoom in here, you'll see the 3 bolts here. I've set it with the back bolt here. This one here, I just kind of did it back, like back here. I set it back here, that way I had room to get on both sides of the rack. But anyway, I just kind of use that as a pilot point to hold it down, same way on this side. So what I would recommend doing is mounting your bars together down on the ground and then bringing them up. Don't forget to put your grommets on, because you got this rubber piece here is covering a hole. You got to run a bolt in here. So I mean, you can do all this up top here, but I would just recommend doing it down on the ground and then bringing it up, get another person to help you bring it up or whatever. Anyway, you got a bolt that goes in from underneath to the bar here, in the same way here on both sides. So you got 4 big bolts. Once you get this thing set in place, I would tighten this bolt and this bolt. Make sure it's good and tight. Once you have those tight, I would set these in, tighten them down. Once you have those tightened down, then I would go to your faceplate. This faceplate, they come together. It's kind of an odd packaging for this, but anyway, your red fiberglass will come with a plastic film on it. I would take that film off, obviously, before you put this together. It's just an Allen bolt with a nut on the back and washers. Once you have those in, then you got this bracket and this bracket. I put those 2 bolts in, just ran them in hand tight, both sides. Grabbed the basket, brought the basket up, set it in place, and you got a bolt here on all 4 corners. I did those. I tightened all those down. I got them all set in, and then went around and tightened them up. And then I came back and tightened those bolts and those bolts. Same on the other side. And I tell you, and then I went from that point. I moved it all the way up, brought it up to about 1/4 of an inch off the front corner here. This way it allows me to remove the hard top, if I so choose to, which I probably won't, but just never know. Anyway, you see down in there's wires for the 3rd brake light. I just zip tied those down. I have no plans on using that right now, until I figure out if I'm going to add more lights on the back. Once I add more lights back here, we'll have something else to do. But yeah, that was a pretty easy set up, I think, once I figured out what the heck I was doing. But just kind of giving an idea for people that are buying these on how to do the install. Didn't really have any type of an install video for these, so I'm sorry. I probably should have made a video of it, but I just figured it'd be just as easy to just make a quick run through what I did. There's these little plates on each end. There's this one, and then there's this one. Not very easy to get your hands in on those, but I mean, like I said, once you get figured out what's going on with the bolts and the nuts, it's pretty easy to figure out what you're doing. Um, it can be rather intimidating. Look at the bolt size and things like that on the diagram of the parts. Like I'll give you an instance here. Like the button head Allen bolts, like an M12. Like I'm not real handy. I don't know what the size of these things are or whatever. But when they give you the package comes, they're all mixed together, so you got to break it apart, separate them. So what I found it was easy was to match everything. So I grabbed all the washers that were the same, the spring washers, all the bolts, all the nuts, everything that was the same, and I run them in a line, and then I numbered them above. That way that I can go through, basic instructions. I'll show you here. Like here, it was saying put 26, 29, and 30 to connect parts 2 and 3. Well, you got to keep going back to your parts list here to run those numbers. So I figured by throwing them out on my toolbox here, I was able to figure out grab 26, grab 29, grab 30, through the sequence there, whether it was a bolt and a washer and a nut, you knew what you were grabbing. Anyways, that's the way I figured it was easy. So it took me a little time to break that apart. So I probably took about a half hour putting all the parts out, making sure I had everything correct. The correct count on everything. Once I figured that out, then I started doing the build. All in all, I said it probably took me grand total 3.5 hours. Could have been quicker had the bolts and everything else been already numbered and individually packaged, but I mean, that's on Blackhorse to figure out. Packaging on this stuff was pretty bad. This base part here, along with the brackets, was probably the worst packaged part of it. Everything else, like the top rack, the basket and everything, that was bubble wrapped. The bars were all bubble wrapped. The plates here were all bubble wrapped, but this was just 3 pieces of plastic on it. And consecutive, it wasn't like overlapping. They were 1, 2, and 3 throughout the whole entire piece. So pretty bad on that part. Got lucky on the shipping that nothing got damaged. Quality, I'd say pretty good. I'm overall impressed with how it looks. Just through the time being here in Ohio, probably only take about one winter to figure out how well the actual coating is on here, the powder coating, and the welds and stuff like that. So maybe I do another review of it in a year, kind of give everybody what it looks like. This will be most likely a outside vehicle, so it won't see much inside, so we'll see how it handles the test of being out in the summer here in Ohio. Anyway, I hope y'all like the video I put together here. Not trying to be too long with it or anything, but if you have any questions or anything, just drop them in the comments. I'll try to answer them the best I can. I bought it through Quadratech, quick delivery. I bought it on Christmas. I think I got it on like the 30th or something, so it's been sitting here all this time, and quite a few other upgrades on the Gladiator here throughout the last 2 months here, so it's taken quite a bit of a facelift for that. Anyway, so yeah, if you like it, give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe or whatever. I don't post a lot of videos, but I thought I would post this because there's not a whole lot of information out there on the Blackhorse. So yeah, check it out. Catch you later. Peace out.